Hello guys, and thank you for joining me. In a previous video, we demonstrated using computed values using const to create values from existing environment variables. Now we will see how we can validate our variables using the test property. Let's start with the structure. On each key, we can add a test property. The test property can get one test, but it can also get an array of tests. And config will validate that all of the tests are passed in order to run your application. Let's demonstrate a simple test. For example, $.value greater than 7,000. Obviously, this test won't pass. Let's rerun config eval just to view the result. Now we can see the validation failed because $value is not greater than 7,000. You can put any JavaScript syntax in those tests, but we can also do a lot more. Because $value is known as a number in this use case, $value will be parsed as number. So the type of $value is a number. If you want the original environment variable from the system, from your database, from configure system, you can see that the type of stored value will be string and the type of value in this use case will be a number. You can also test it. For example, $value. I can check that type of $value equals a number. You can see that this test has passed. If we will check stored value, the stored value is a string. Now let's add more complexity to it. We can use any function from validator.js. If you're familiar with validator.js, you probably know that there are a lot of functions here to validate credit cards, emails, Mongo IDs, different types of numbers, locations, and also if you want to check a port, you can use isPort. Now I will use validator.isPort. And you can see that in the documentation of validator that isPort is expecting to receive a string. That means that if you will pass $value, this will probably fail. As you can see, expected a string, but received a number. So if you want the original value from the Redis port, we can use the stored value into validator.js. Now we can see that the stored value is a valid port. Now let's add multiple tests. We know that the stored value is a valid port. And now we can check if $value is greater than 2,000. And we can have another test to check that $value is lower than 1,000. This test will fail. And because I split it into different tests, now I know that the test that failed is the 6,000, and I can change the default to another number that can pass the test. And now we can have a valid test. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video about cross keys test.